Now, thanks everyone. Into a conversation with Isabelle Spiegel, the Vice President of Environment at VINCI. 285,000 employees in over 120 countries. So if you think your job in transformation is hard, you're going to be motivated by this session. Isabelle, welcome to the stage. Here we go.
Thanks.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, transforming such a large, complex organization must be almost impossible. Tell us who you are, what your role is, what you're responsible for, and ultimately, transformation isn't a destination, it's a journey. But where would you say VINCI are on that journey?
So definitely, luckily, I'm not alone, because environment is everyone's job as well. So definitely, I'm here to guide everybody in this journey. So we decided, and the ton from the top was provided with clear target by 2030. But then what's making the difference is that we said that everything has to be really coming from the bottom line, so from the work sites, from the more than 4,000 business units that we have, etc. So my role is to make sure that people within our company are able to make informed decisions to run this transformation journey indeed. And because you already asked where do we stand in this journey, so we set some targets 5 years ago. By 2030, and definitely midway of this trajectory, we are on track. So if we look at the carbon trajectory of reduction of emissions, we are on track on the action plan as well. So it doesn't mean that it's easy. However, we are really proud to be a partner of ChangeNOW this year to be able to show indeed the pragmatic solutions that we are able to come up with.
We were chatting over at your stand earlier, and you're a little plug for the stand. There you go. You're a decentralized company, which is a really interesting thing. Tell us, what is that? What does it mean? And has it been beneficial in helping you unlock change?
Yeah, and in fact, myself, I joined VINCI to really run this journey. And part of the reason why I joined this company is for the sector, for sure, but also because it's a decentralized company, a decentralized model. And what goes with decentralization is ownership. So when you talk about purpose, bring back purpose to people, etc., that's exactly what we are doing. And our business unit, our managers, our leaders, etc., and people on the ground are making informed decisions to embed purely environment within their daily operation. So that means that indeed, I'm here to provide expertise, training, means, support, etc., but not to make the decision at the place of people on the ground, of operational people. So that's really the benefit, is that with that, you have a bit of inertia, yes, that's for sure. However, climate change is really a global issue. So yes, we all share the same burden, challenge, way to calculate, etc. However, when we come to other topics on environment, water, biodiversity, resources, etc., it sticks to some local specificities. Our culture, regulation are not the same. Our expertise are definitely not the same. Our activities also not. So there's no one fit-for-all solution and way to do it. So to address this issue of it depends on the context, we said, okay, let's just train people, make sure that they are capable of making decisions that are informed decisions. And with that, it's just when we set the targets, we said, okay, we have 1 decade to make this huge journey. But we didn't explain in all the detail, you should start by this or this. No, you make the choice to start by your priorities, depending on your clients, your context, etc., etc. So, and that's what makes it quite powerful indeed.
Yeah, I love that autonomy, and it's a very interesting structure. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And
which one?
Well, decarbonisation and the negative impact of construction on our natural world. Concrete, I think, emits around 8% of total global emissions. It's the second only to water most consumed resource on the planet. How does all this play into your wider plans?
So definitely that's a huge challenge. And if you take just figures, our calculation in terms of CO2 emissions means that the total CO2 linked to concrete implementation is close to 2 million tons of CO2. It's equivalent to our scope 1 and 2. So our direct emission linked to energy we are using or burning in our vehicles. So definitely it's huge. How to address this? So I'm quite happy. It's quite easy to do and to explain in 2025 because we have a huge low carbon concrete strategy, which is to implement 90% of low carbon concrete with VINCI construction project in all geographies. So, but to be able to do that, we had to experiment. So the first time we pour concrete without any cement, which is a carbonized material within the concrete itself, it was in L'Archipel, in our headquarters.
Oh, okay.
So it's a project financed by us, built by us, and with a partnership with a supplier of substitute for cement. And then we were able to do that 4 years ago to be able to understand, to go to the bottom of this solution, to understand the technicality, economic side, environmental calculations, etc., etc. And because it worked, we said, okay, let's now
So you're saying that your HQ is still standing, it's not fallen down?
Yes, exactly. And
Good.
we put our employees in it. So yeah, definitely. And it's working. So, but you need to lead through examples like that. And not every single project is able to accept this kind of very high level of decarbonization.
Yeah.
So another key is really to have a full service, a range of offering, in fact, to our clients. So we set up a matrix. We have low carbon, very low carbon, ultra low carbon concrete, and we let some room also for the clients to make choices or to adapt just the right formulation for the concrete, depending on the weather, for instance. So it means a lot of adaptation on the work sites for our people to get trained to use new materials. But we are achieving 60% of low carbon concrete already in our activities in France. So we are quite confident. We have still a lot to do, definitely, and I'm looking at one guy in charge of this here. But definitely we are making great progresses so far.
But it must be so expensive. And are your clients who are wanting construction willing to pay for that extra cost?
Well, that's why we have a full range of offering, in fact, with different categories. So the ultra low carbon concrete, yes, is more expensive. So we were able to sell it to clients who want to be pioneer themselves, I would say so. With a really high level of decarbonization, when there is an extra cost, usually it's clients who have innovation of sustainability funds. But then that's why also we make sure that everyone is able to afford for the first step of action. Because moving from, well, it's too difficult, it's too expensive, etc., to already started to implement an action, even if it's not the 100% the best solution in environment, is already making a great step.
Yeah.
So when I was in Mexico to, look at the first project where we did, there were no regulation, no standards, no requests for a client. But to explain to the client that we're going to test and make the demonstration that we can use low carbon concrete in Mexico. And 2 years after, we built a tower. So we made the foundation works from a tower in Mexico City with the same formulation. So that's the progresses that we are making to show that solutions are in our hands, they are available, and cost is not always the barrier that we think about.
And how do you balance that kind of that perspective of, on one side, you're looking to build and develop global construction projects and profitably grow the business, but on the other side, you've got the balancing of the cost of natural capital, soil, water, air quality. How do you balance that?
Well, definitely environment is not only about carbon, so we need to make sure that we think within the planet boundaries, as Karine explained before. So definitely we need to make sure that what we provide in terms of infrastructure stick to the utility, to the function of what we do. So that means that, for instance, 80% of the buildings in Europe that are going to be used in 2025 are all in 2050, sorry, are already built. So that means that we need to renovate, we need to use urban recycling, reconvert existing buildings or existing area to another usage, etc. So that's part of what we do, you know, to avoid indeed destroying new natural places, etc., etc. So that's why, for instance, our real estate brand has now a strategic objective of making business based off at least 50% of urban recycling. So we moved from developing new buildings, you know, in natural areas to partnering with industrial brands, etc. So B2C business to acquire existing used land and to be able to retrofit that for new development.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting kind of perspective. But I think I'm interested to know specifically within the construction world and you know the size of the organization that you've got. What are the things that we're not talking about? What are the things that we're overlooking in transformation? And almost what are the tips that you can give to people in the audience to have those awkward conversations or highlight things that need to be addressed?
We took it the tough way, I would say, by saying, well, everybody should be able to make his own decision, stick to reality on the ground, etc., etc. So by doing that, yes, there is some inertia. So that means as well that you have also to follow an incremental approach. So one step at a time. If you come up from day one with carbon, you know, scope 1, 2, 3, avoided emission, nature, water, etc., we are just losing people. So when I say step at a time, is already addressing this complexity, but it's also just using the test and learn methodology. So let's do that in this area, let's do another thing elsewhere, and we'll look at the feedback, you know, return on experience, and we're going to share practice and share what's working and not. And we are doing that over the last 5 years, and it's working. So meaning also that the key word in all what we did, and really if I have one tip for every one of you, is take action. So we should stop about committing to future, etc., etc. That's great, but a company like us, we did it 5 years ago. So now it's definitely the time for action. And just do it. Even if it's not the perfect action, just start to move. Even if you do not address all the complexity in one first step, okay, it doesn't matter. And then you can make progresses. So that's...
That said, there's a lot of people in the audience who, you know, we're very much in the echo chamber here. There are a lot of people who want to make action happen, but there is a backlash in ESG. And how do we keep momentum when things are being reversed? And how do we almost keep belief for the people who are really trying to live and breathe the action narrative day by day?
Definitely, 2025 is a complex year because of that. However, a company like us, when we decided to accelerate our environmental journey, we said we want to be ahead of the market. We want to take a proactive approach, so meaning that we used to do environment already when regulation was asking us to do, or a client directly asking us to do. But what we said 5 years ago is that it's not moving fast enough. So we need to be a step ahead and provide something on the market. So definitely still valid today. So no reason, you know, if there is less regulation, etc., for us to change this strategy. And definitely, we do that because we are convinced, we strongly believe of this strategy as a winning strategy, not only for the planet, definitely for people living on the planet, but also for a business strategy. And when we see the enormous potential on low carbon, energy, material, circularity, etc., well, so far, I think it's a winning strategy as well for the business, definitely.
As I mentioned, I came and saw the stand earlier. That's a really great example of looking at solutions and almost trying to give different innovation organizations a bit of a platform. Tell us about the environmental awards that you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a chance to come on our stand and you'll visit and you see the 12 winners of our environmental awards. So that's really an internal competition that we launched last year. It was the second edition. And it goes together with taking action. So what we're explaining to everybody is that we have to take action. So this competition, first, is the right way to make some moves. So people had 4 months to do something and then apply on a platform. And then you have to train people in the different regions in which we operate to facilitate this competition, to be the jury, the experts, etc., etc. So that's a great way to put companies as large as us into the move of the journey. And what we wanted is really to get impact. So it's impactful solution, both for business and for positive environmental impact. So 12 winners presented today. It's pragmatic solutions. That's what we bring to the market. And that's really a game changer for us internally. So, and having this kind of competition, it's, you are just, the only rule is the timing, in fact. So everybody has until X deadline to be able to apply, and after you cannot win anymore. So at least the competition, so you still win the environmental journey. And now, so this year, the year after, the challenge is the scaling up.
Yeah.
So all the solutions that we have here are already existing, pragmatic, concrete, etc., ready to go to the market. But we are supporting them with what we call a scale-up program, definitely to help, make sure to deploy them.
How many winners of the awards are there? Because you said you got 12 different categories, or do they all get something? What do they win?
Well, they win the right to be in this program, in this support program, and have support from different, business coaches, environmental coaches, etc., to support the scaling up. And indeed, the 12 were within the different categories. So we said carbon is not the unique key in environment. So we had mitigation, adaptation, circularity with 2 stakes specifically, and then water and renaturation. So that was already some winners. We have then the grand prize is Revilo. So how to bring back nature into cities. And to be able to do that, you have to manage the soil, you have to manage the water, and to infiltrate storm water directly into the land instead of going to some networks. To think about the color and the right pavement for the soil, and then, to plant also vegetation, so to bring back nature into the city. So that's for instance, so what they win is first to be here on this stand, but then some visibility and support definitely to make this different, to now embark a sector. So it's not only a company journey, it's a sectoral journey, all of the construction, infrastructure, mobility, energy sector on the move, and that's great.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Isabelle. A really, really interesting view into such a large company. Can we get a round of applause, please, for Isabelle? Thank you.